All right. I guess we're ready for another. Hi, friends. Doc South. I thought, well, I got a chance today, and I thought I'd explain a jar that you will often see wherever I DJ. I put it out at almost every gig I do. Yeah, it looks like this. This is it. It's an old salad bar jar from actually, it's left over from when the Chatterbox was Sonny's Drive-In. There was a salad bar at that time, and I think when Don Hall took over the Chatterbox, I don't think they had the salad bar anymore. And that was down, I think, down in the basement or in storage. And I had this charity I was raising money for, and they gave me this. Don gave me this. I think this held cherry tomatoes at one time. As you see, it says, yeah, I'm reading it in reverse, but you're seeing it all right, right? Oh, I hope so. Phone cards for the soldiers, thank you. And I always have a little flag coming out of it. And, well, people put a buck or two in or what have you. And periodically I send the money. I count it out and I put it into my account, and then I send it a check out to the VFW's Operation Uplink. Operation Uplink, a service that helps our soldiers stay in touch with the loved ones back home. Generally, it's a phone card providing service or phone call providing service. Let's put it that way. They used to start out with phone cards. Of course, that was, oh gosh, I'd say, what's this now, 2017? No, probably 12, 13 years ago, it was phone cards. They'd give soldiers phone cards. They could use them to call. If they were in transit, traveling from point A to point B, from boot camp to their first assignment, from their first assignment, heaven knows where, and they could use it to call home. Then I think they went to phone call days. They would have free phone call days on faraway bases. That worked out pretty good. Now I think the VFW helps, as near as I know, helps provide Skyping. Or they, phone card day or free phone call days on various bases where they'll say, okay, we'll pick up the tab. I think the Skyping's probably the best thing because that's like, well, you and me talking to one another. That's pretty cool. And they're probably pretty neat thing to do. Then the VFW is always nice enough. Well, you can see whenever I send them some money, they send these. Yeah, they send a receipt, a thank you, and oh gosh, these I didn't always keep them, but I don't know. Yeah, we're going back. Oh my gosh, to 2004. This 2017. Yeah, it's 13 some years ago. Prior to that, I used the jar to raise money for a local guard unit, the 2nd Battalion, 102nd Armor, and this was for when they were deployed in Iraq. I figured their family readiness group needed money, and well, I sent whatever money we got in the jar to them. Sometimes it added up to quite a bit. And they were always very grateful. When all that kind of ended, I then switched to the VFW's Operation Uplink. Thought it would be the good thing to do. It's nice to be able to call home. In fact, I know a guy. He's long since passed away. He has passed away. His name was Ed, and he right around the day after Pearl Harbor. Back in 1941, he got in line to enlist into the U.S. Navy. I might add that line was he got there early, so he only had about a mile's worth of line to stand in. There was quite a few people signing up, as you can imagine. And so he goes and he enlists in the Navy. And I guess, he went through whatever training. I think his main thing, he was serving on a carrier. I forget the name of the carrier. It survived the war, and I wouldn't want to say and not know. He used to tell me. In fact, somewhere I've got an interview I did with him about all this, and it was pretty cool. And I know he did things like, one day I think his job was when there was battles going on, when the airplanes landed to refuel, it was his job to get the machine gun bullets into the ammo bays of the airplane. And he had to do that while you can imagine all what was breaking loose overhead. At any minute, he could have, well, heaven knows, he could have been killed at any second. Luckily, that didn't happen. He served, his ship served well. I know one time Ed was sitting atop of the deck there, on the flight deck. He looks out and he sees a torpedo coming for the ship. And it looked like it was going to hit right under where he was standing. I remember asking him, I said, Ed, did you run? He says, where am I going to run? He said, I just stood there. He said, I prayed a lot. And it turns out the torpedo somehow took a dive and went under the aircraft carrier, which I find hard to believe, but it did. It came out the other side, and I guess some people shot it with a gun and exploded it before it could hurt anyone. And there you go. Yeah. I don't know. Go figure. Divine intervention, you ask me, or just a crummy rudder on the darn thing, I guess. But anyway, eventually the war ended, and Ed said, "Well, this Navy ain't so bad." I imagine by then he was a petty officer, the Navy's equivalent to a sergeant. Well, he figured, hey, everyone's hunting for jobs. I got one here, so he stayed on for a bit, and of course, he got married. Everyone did. My gosh, the justice of the peace business was very good back then, and he as things would happen, his wife was expecting when he put out to sea on the carrier he served on, and they're out at sea on maneuvers, heaven knows doing what, little of this, a little of that, and his wife's time was coming due, and of course, telephones basically where you picked up the phone and said, operator, Central, get me 3084. And, they'd get you the number, then they listen in on your conversation. A lot of them, not always, but, okay. Maybe the snoopier ones. And so he's at sea, and he can't really, all he gets is now and then a plane comes in with letters, or you could get a telegram. Mostly he got letters, but one day he gets called down to the telegraph office, or the radio room, and they received a coded message for Ed. And the message read, and I swear this is absolutely true. He said the message read, congratulations on, let me make sure I got this right now, on June 1st, your lovely wife gave birth to 5 baby boys. And of course, Ed reads that, and right away they had to call the medics. The corpsman, and he's out cold. He comes to, he reads the letter again on June 1st, your wife gave birth to 5 beautiful baby boys. He didn't know what to do. He's going out of his mind. 5 kids. And, he was very happy, but at the same time, 5 kids. Anyway, about 4 hours after he came to, another message comes in. Please destroy original message. Was written in error on June 5th. Your wife gave birth to 1 beautiful baby boy. Ed said, okay, that he could take. So he started, I guess they had cigars handy somewhere, and he was passing them out, or cigarettes. So there you are. Anyway, I guess Ed could have used Operation Uplink. A phone call home would have been a whole lot, would have cleared things up rather quick. So anyway, I guess that's sort of why I got into doing Operation Uplink. So I thought to again help the soldiers stay in touch with home. If you see the jar, You can always put a quarter in, loose change, a buck or two. That's all I think anyone would ask. I know I always keep an eye on the jar, when I'm DJing. And, twice now, after all these years, twice, I remember once I turned my back, both cases, I turned my back on the jar. I don't know, had my attention elsewhere. And doggone, when I go and look in that jar, you know what I saw? Someone had snuck $100 bill in there. Yeah, $100 bill. Twice. Twice that happened. Every now and then someone will put a 20 in, but mostly it's a buck here, a buck there. And doggone, I should mention, we're up to, since when I started the jar again, probably 13, 14 years ago, who knows, we've raised $20,125, and I have about another 125 ready to go out. I might wait till it gets up to 150 and send it. Huh? Yeah. So pretty cool. I suggest that to you. If you got some way of meeting a lot of people at one spot or another, it doesn't hurt to put out a jar for whatever charity you like. Dog rescue. Oh gosh, there's so many things, so many people that can use a hand one way or another. St. Jude's Children's Hospital, people love to donate to that. That wonderful place. You get your local rescue squad might need a new ambulance. Well, there you are. Yeah, just do what you can. Okay. Alrighty. Well, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed, and God bless. And I still think of that Ed's getting that message. My heavens, that's too cool. Anyway, I'll see you later, friends. Thank you, and God bless.